Am I misleading you in order to stay on YouTube? Well, this was a weird email I received from someone who I think we've been in contact before, as a matter of fact, and it was kind of frustrating me. I was surprised to receive this one. It kind of bothered me because I'm like, what? You're throwing that accusation at me? Okay. So let's read this. We'll call her Linda. We'll say Linda has sent this to me, and I just got this today. There's a big run-on sentence at the beginning, so I'm going to put periods where she does not, so we don't have to have a 6-line run-on sentence. We need periods in there, Linda. Due to many other retirement planners, as well as you, that's your old buddy Josh, me, saying housing is largest retiree expense category, I wonder if this is political duress on all the planners figuring they may be pulled off social media. Period. For instance, if they point out for a significant number of retirees, taxes are and will be the largest dollar category most of their retirement years. Due to their own ignorance, blindly stuffing their tax-deferred accounts for many years per advice of CPAs and employers, and modeling of retirement software that left out tax category. Well, I don't know about that, but okay. So what if one has no credit card debt or mortgage? At the beginning of retirement, a number of us are faced with several hundreds of thousands of dollars to be paid to the all assorted tax entities to include IRMA during our 30 years ahead. My ongoing required cash inflows to cover the tax burdens will substantially exceed any amount of salary I ever earned to pay the ongoing tax expense. All right. Remember, the taxes you're paying now are going to be based on an investment portfolio that's grown well above the AWI average wage index or COLAs for Social Security. But we don't care about COLAs for Social Security. We're looking at AWI. Now, that's just a fact. So you're paying more taxes because your portfolio has grown significantly more than your income had. All right, and that's a problem actually with our very bifurcated society where we have an elite group of people way up here who control everything and everybody else down here, because the elite group of people are all in stocks and real estate where most of us aren't. We're just trying to get by. That's just a fact. Anyway, you're also looking at your salary from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago relative to today, where the amount you're pulling out of your IRA is going to be significantly larger because of the growth you've had over the last 10, 15 years or so. All right, so that's just one thing. Part two is the vast majority of people, taxes are almost a negligible. The vast majority of retirees, taxes are almost negligible, frankly, Linda. Maybe not for you. I just got off the horn today. A couple out of Arizona, and they're crushing, love them to death. They're going to have RMDs up. Let me get this. What are you doing, baby? Oh boy. I just want to sit there with the door wide open. It's cold outside. Oh, Pablo, it's cold outside. I'm going to get banned from YouTube for that, Linda, for singing that song. Baby, it's cold outside. That's where they're going to ban me, not from telling you about taxes. And I wrote the book on the tax bomb in your retirement account, Linda. I wrote that book. I talk about the tax situation more than anyone else I know. More than Ed Slott. Me, your old buddy Josh. There he goes. I just watched a video on Rhodesian Ridgebacks. It's fed to a T. Just, oh my goodness. They're hyper. They're very active. You know what I'm saying? They love their parents. They love their moms and dads, me. Not easy to train. They do love to snuggle too, but they got to get their exercise. Oh, and they're loud. They're not afraid to let you know what they feel. It's funny. Love him to death. That's him. He's a mutt Rhodesian Ridgeback, but man, he is so doggone gorgeous. Like, he got the beautiful, like, almost like how girls, they put that stuff on their eyes, eyeliner or something like that. It's just beautiful. And these bright brown eyes, just, oh my goodness, a beautiful, like, brownish, I don't know, brownish, what's the other word I'm looking for? Like an amber kind of color skin, fur. Gorgeous. Pablo's just a freaking knucklehead, but he's cute as could be. Finney's gorgeous. Pablo's cute. That's all there's to it. But it just, oh my goodness. I love those guys. But they love each other. It's funny. The video they showed how Rhodesian Ridgebacks, they get along with other dogs as long as they're introduced, and they're not just thrown together. They got to be introduced together. And Pablo and Finney, they sleep on, it's the best guys, the best friends you've ever seen. It's great. Anyway, so Linda says, again, is that your taxes are higher. So the guy's working with today from Arizona, he and his wife got a couple $1 million. They're both about 72 right now. So RMDs are coming next year, a couple $1 million in IRAs. Their RMD is going to be over $200,000. That's just a fact. And they're going to have upwards of taxes of $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. There's no other way around it. And then when he dies, the wife's going to get hammered with almost 6 figures of taxes. Yeah, and I started working with them a few years ago. It was kind of almost too late to really do anything for Roth conversions. I mean, he still did some, but it's not. I mean, given the market growth and all that, it's not going to make a dent, a drop in the bucket or something like that. I mean, it's worth it, but it's not going to change much. Because he's older now. Both he and his wife are 72, so RMDs are literally right there. And what are you going to do? You're going to do a bunch of Roth conversions. All right, well, you're paying the tax now as opposed to next year or the next year. I mean, there's not much you can do. So for me, I'm 53. Let me go over here to close this door. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I hear a bird. I hope he's not in the house. All right, good. So I'm 53. I now have everything in Roth IRAs. I don't have anything in pre-tax stuff. So my goal is when I retire, it'll all be brokerage accounts. Kind of going back to this is one of the videos I'm doing for my course I'm working on, tax consequences of mutual funds and ETFs. So when I retire, I'm going to have all long-term capital gains in qualified dividend income because I'll have my brokerage account just be all VTI essentially, which doesn't have, in VTI there is no long-term capital gain. So the only capital gain generated would be what I decide to take from my VTI. But it won't be any capital gains in VTI because VTI, that's how they do it, the Vanguard index funds. And then the dividends would be minimal. I mean, right now they're minimal, like 1.5% or something like that in the qualified dividends. So I'll be living off long-term capital gains, qualified dividends, Roth IRAs, and Social Security. I'll be completely tax-free. Now, that's great. Now, how much tax did I have to pay today to avoid that in the future? Is that worth it? And so same with Linda. It's like, how much tax money did you save? I mean, that's the issue. You can't just look at it like, I got to pay all these taxes. Well, you did get a tax deduction over here, Linda. You did. That's just a fact, man. Now, is it worth it? Should you have done more of a leveling off? Probably. You didn't know to do that. That's okay. But the vast majority of people aren't like that. Because the vast majority of people, Social Security provides a pretty substantial amount of their income. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. And if you're married filing jointly, let's see if I can do it. Let me go over this again for the millionth time. All right, so we're going to do Social Security for just a single person, all right? So we're going to say Linda has $42,000 of Social Security. So $42,000 of Social Security, that's $3,500 a month, all right? All right, and she's single. And we're going to say she has $20,000, or let's say $18,000 of RMD for $60,000 a year of income. All right. So what we do here is we know if you're single, the first $25,000 of your provisional income, we're going to talk about that here in just a second. Your first $25,000 of provisional income is you don't pay any. There's no Social Security subject to taxation. We'll show you that in just a second. The next $25,000 to $34,000, 50% of that is, and anything above 34. 85% of that is. Again, we'll show you here in just a second. So we got to figure out provisional income. So this is our true income. All right, Pablo's barking. Let me get him. Our true income is $60,000. All right, Pablo, hold on just a second, baby cakes. Hold on. Don't mind me doing a video. Come on, Beb. Pablo. All right, so our true income is $60,000. Our provisional income is what we figure out to determine how much of our Social Security be subject to taxation. So our provisional income is half of this. So it's going to be $21,000 plus this $18,000. All this does is figure out how much of our Social Security is subject to taxation. So our provisional income is $39,000. All right. The first $25,000 of this is none of it subject to taxation. That leaves us $14,000. The next $9,000. Let's go over here. $14,000. The next $9,000 is 50% of that is subject to taxation, so that'd be $4,500. That leaves us $5,000, which is 85%. Times 0.85. Let me get my calculator over here. So the next 5,000 times 0.85. 5 times 0.85, 4,250. All right, so we got 4,250 plus 4,500 right here. That's going to be 8,750. All right, so we got 8,750. All right, so again, Of the provisional income. Provisional income is what we factor in to find out how much of our Social Security is subject to taxation, first and foremost. So provisional income, you take half of your Social Security plus your other income, right? That could even be municipal bond income. And that gives us $21,000 plus $18,000, so provisional income is $39,000. And then we look at these bend points, if you will. The first $25,000 is free and clear. The first $25,000 of our provisional income is not subject to Social Security income tax. The next $9,000, all right, so we're left with $14,000. The next $9,000, that 14, half that is subject to Social Security taxes, and anything left over, in this case $5,000, 85% of that is subject to Social Security. All right, so we know that of our Social Security of $42,000, only $8,750 is subject to taxation. All right, so we got $60,000 is our true income. All right, let me just get this thing here. $60,000 is our true income. So far we know, and we can see it right here a mile away, that $8,750 of our Social Security is subject to taxation, which means how much is not subject to taxation? Well, take our trusty calculator, which I have right here in my pocket. Take our trusty calculator, and we say $8,750 divided by 42. 80% of our Social Security is tax-free. 80%. All right, so now we get $8,750 plus that $18,000 IRA distributions. What's that? $26,750. Yeah, $26,750. All right, so now we're a single taxpayer. I can't remember this exact. I just for simplicity will say that's going to be that right there is our AGI. $26,750. I'm just going to, I can't remember what the standard deduction is. I'm going to say $13,500 for simplicity if you're over 65 for a single person. So we got $13,250 is our taxable income. You're based at a 10% tax bracket. We'll say the first, $12,000 is 10%. And then that's going to be 1,250 at 12%. All right, so we're talking $144 here, plus $1,200 there. So we're talking about $1,340 of taxes total on $60,000 of true income. So we take our trusty calculator, we say $13,440 divided by 60,000. That's a 2.2% effective tax rate. That's what most people are going to be dealing with, Linda. Most people are not dealing with massive amounts of IRA distributions, which have a subject to IRMA. They're not. Now, why would you ever accuse me, of all people, of being the guy who's like worried about YouTube because I talk about taxes? Dude, I talk about taxes. My whole freaking YouTube channel is built on tax, man. It's just weird. Maybe you're drinking or something. I don't know. That's just a weird email to me. I don't like it. It's like, I'm not pissed. I'm not offended. I'm a little bit offended. Like, me, of all people, you're going to accuse me of neglecting to talk about taxes because I'm worried about being on YouTube? I'm the guy who brought this to most people's attention. Nobody else but your old buddy Josh. Anyway, it's a weird thing. I do read comments. I do read emails. And sometimes I'm like, oh, what the hell? And sometimes it's good content. Hopefully I get paid from that content. So keep it up. All right. Love your thoughts. We'll see you guys. I got to get some doggies.